Talk Today, the gold standard of sports betting shows where we talk the talk and walk the walk. It's NFL week. It's Contender Series week. I had my very first fantasy football draft last night. Dan, we got a locked and loaded week. It's go time, baby. It's go time. It feels like fall sports are pretty much here. How was your weekend?
And also, Andy, let's be real, it's the first full NFL preseason week. So we are locked and loaded. College football, I think, is like 2.5 weeks away. So it is here, folks. If the moment you have been waiting for is here. I'm fresh off running the opening line report with Teddy Covers. That's always how you know football is back. So you can check that out if you're subscribed here at the channel. But Andy, as you said, man, we got a lot to get to today. We got the WagerTalk Today play of the day that we'll kick off the show with. We also got MLB games that we'll be breaking down with Steve Merril. We got Bill Crackman on the show. Gianni is standing by as well. But as I alluded to, Andy, we're a minute into the show. 45 and 35, still 10 marks above the 500 mark. Are we on the play of the day? And we're going to stick with the diamond while we still can, Andy. What are we going with?
Yeah, miserable week in free play. So let's get off to a winner this week.
Yeah.
We're going to go to, it was terrible. So Mets and the Braves, we're going to go with Christian Scott. He is pitching for the Mets. Bryce Elder is going for the Braves. Christian Scott over 5.5 strikeouts. Final price is plus money. That's what makes this really, really enticing. Pretty simple handicap. Scott has gone over this in 6 out of the last 7 games. The Braves strike out over 8 times per game. They're averaging 11.6 strikeouts per game the last 3. And the pitch count looks really good. 96 and 98 pitches the last 2 games. So he's going deeper into games. So at plus money, I'm pretty happy to see this. When I saw the 5.5, I was a little curious. I thought for sure they'd put it at 6.5 because he's landed on 6 quite a few games recently. So 5.5 seems good. And then they give us plus money. Yeah, I like it. So give me Christian Scott over 5.5 strikeouts. That's your free play of the day.
Andy, it's always great when we can have a bad week of free plays and still be 10 over 500. And a lot of these we give out are plus money. They were just cursed last week. Even the one that we gave out in the fight, our fight was canceled, dude. Like, we wanted to fade the baby. We made a drop and everything about it, and we had the freaking fight canceled, dude. Like,
that's when you know. Take a step back. It's not your week when your fight gets canceled, when you have a really strong free play. But it was a great week in UFC. I think for all of us, we had our 5% play. Gianni had a good week. Let's bring in Gianni. So UFC, man, UFC is paying a lot of bills these days, Gianni.
Shout out to my man Block. Yeah, absolutely. I picked up 10 units in combat sports this past week. I think going 5-1. On 4% plays. I even got involved in BKFC, your specialty. I saw sharp play in the accounts, didn't even have to handicap it. The line was still available, and we got down. It's the busy time, man. And no surprise, we're running hot right now. I got to be top 3 last 7 days because I could just tell by the accounts we've made some money over this past week. Now, everything changes starting this week, and here's why. NFL returns. And I know it's only preseason, but rest assured, those preseason games will outperform everything else going on that day combined as far as betting volume goes. And where the money goes, that's what the books are interested in. So as bettors, we need to look elsewhere because when all the focus is in one market, we need to look in different markets to find that value. I'm not telling you to overlook NFL. In fact, I think there's more value during the preseason than there is during the regular season. And that's obviously reflected by the fact lines move so significantly, something that doesn't happen in the regular season. So it's obviously a less efficient market. So attack the preseason, but don't overlook Major League Baseball during these times. Don't overlook WNBA. Don't overlook MMA, all these other markets, because of the fact all of the attention is on football. So with the other markets, it's easier to determine, is this line legit? Is it a move? Is it sharp money? Is it public money? Well, if someone's betting a WNBA game when there's nothing but football on the board and you see a total move in WNBA, 1.5, rest assured it's sharp. If you see a line move, rest assured it's sharp. Now, again, that doesn't do you much good if you miss the number, but at least you're able to determine what the line move actually means and be a lot more confident that you're right than when this isn't the case. So again, this is a long about way of saying take advantage of all the other markets like WNBA, like Major League Baseball, while NFL's going on. And finally, lines move quickly, man. You can't wait. I released a college football play already to my subscribers as a 4%, and I'll give it to you. It was Stanford minus 3.5. It's up to 5.5, 6 right now. Would I bet it at 5.5, 6? Of course not. It's no longer the same bet. So again, when it comes to now we're talking point spreads, it matters in money lines also, obviously. But when you're talking point spreads, it shows a lot more. It's a lot more obvious. So we're seeing a lot of moves already in the NFL preseason if you want to get into those quickly.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. What are you seeing?
Awesome. 106 Cincinnati minus 3.5 and 4.5. That's all the way up to minus 6. Vegas minus 1.5. That's why you're looking at 2.5 and 3. Tennessee, they took as a dog. They flipped it. Tennessee's now the favorite. They went under 38.5 and 37.5 in the Chargers Houston. They went over 39.5 in Vegas, Arizona. Then guess what? This morning they came under 41.5. Get used to it. That's going to happen a lot. NFL and college football are back. Lines are tight, which means you're going to see two-way action from betting syndicates when the line moves significantly. This should be a reminder to us all that we're betting numbers. We're not betting teams. It's hard to separate ourselves from that during football because we're all fans and we enjoy the game. But if we're putting our hard-earned money, we got to treat it like a business so it pays like a business. Finally, they took Denver minus 3.5. They took Carolina and flipped them to favorite. And finally, just about 15 minutes ago, they hit Seattle again. They had bet Seattle on the money line. Today, they laid the 2.5 as well. So, yeah, a lot of NFL action already. But you'll see these lines continue to move. As information comes in during the week, this is the quarterback rotation. This coach is playing his starters for the first quarter. This guy's playing them into the third quarter. As that information gets confirmed, these lines will move. This is betting syndicates trying to get out ahead of that information. As again, when the week progresses, you'll start seeing confirmation of that information, and then you'll see a lot more moves. And finally, when the public gets involved, and they won't get involved until game day, that money's going to overwhelm any sharp money that's already there. And then they're going to start moving lines as well, and you'll be able to take advantage. So that's a long about way of saying, if you want to get out ahead of the market, you got to bet early because you're racing in a zero-sum game against some very sharp bettors. Otherwise, you got to wait till late and hope the betting public knocks some of these lines out of whack, and you're able to take advantage that way. If you're chasing steam and trying to be on the sharp side, the side the book wants to be on, you can't do that by waiting until game day. It's just not going to work out for you. So these are decisions every bettor needs to make before the season starts. Like, how am I going to attack this market? The same like anything else with the stock market. Am I buying the stock or am I buying options? How am I going to attack this trade? And I think for sports bettors with the NFL and college football here, take a minute and address that question so that you have a blueprint, a game plan to stick to, and you're not all over the place changing systems and trying to figure out, how you're going to approach beating this NFL and college football this season. You should already have, this is my blueprint, whether it's power rating related, whether it's line move related, whether it's your own handicapping, whatever it is. Have that ready to go and don't hesitate because the bettors are out in full force. Limits are greater in football than any other sport, and that's going to attract the sharpest and most sophisticated bettors. Where there's liquidity, that's where you're going to see sharp bettors, and there's more liquidity in the NFL and college football markets than anything else, and that's why you'll see these betting syndicates and these algorithms and these scalpers and these middlers. They're all going to be attacking this exact same market we're trying to find, edges in.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny. I'm looking at just some of these lines, and You can tell right now for these, Thursday games, the books don't really have a good read. Like multiple games are +1.5 or -1.5. So
They're
they don't
waiting.
know.
They want the market to determine where to go, where to take it. That's a great, once the season starts, Andy, that's no longer happening. They're confident. This is what Dallas is power rated. This is what the Eagles are power rated. I subtract A from B. I factor in home field advantage, any injuries, and then what's the recency bias of the bettors coming in. That's it. It's not that difficult to manage risk during the regular season. But right now, they're terrified. Every mistake is costing them money. And the last thing they want to do is end up, getting hit by a ton of sharps, and then the public as well. Getting battered like that is not a good position. That's why you see they're moving these lines. They don't care if they're more worried about being too heavy on a side than getting middled on a side. Because if you're getting middled for a little bit of money, it sucks. It hurts. It stings. But if you lose, if you're on a position and they're piled on, that could really do damage. If you move the line, and a big deal, you're going to have a couple guys that catch you on the middle. All right, it lands in the middle, you pay those guys. But if you make a mistake and leave that line out there and let the money just exponentially grow on that side, that's how you get yourself in trouble. So they're moving these lines.
6 games that are 1.5. That means the books do not know what's going to happen.
They're telling, go ahead, tease it. They're telling you, go wong the hell out of it. Wong it up, they're telling you. Take it up to 7.5. Go ahead.
Yep.
Good luck with that.
Absolutely. Are you seeing anything else in WNBA? We got a couple of games tonight.
Yeah.
I'm interested in what you see because I have one game that I don't understand the line. I got a pretty strong opinion on it. What are you seeing?
A little bit of WNBA action, a little bit of Major League Baseball action. They bet Atlanta. They laid the 11.5, 12.5, and over 83.5, 84.5. Probably injury related. It moved so significantly. And the same thing with Chicago. They took the 1.5, they took the 1 out, and they went under 82.5 and even under 80.5. So Atlanta and over, Chicago and under in WNBA. Major League Baseball, real quickly. A couple totals. It seems they just got out ahead of the public on these because I'm seeing the public on the same sides. Over 8 Mets Atlanta, over 8.5 Phillies, under 8.5 Texas, and over 9.5 Tampa and Athletics. The only sides that I see, again, public sides today, it's Arizona and Milwaukee. And before today, last week, we were seeing the opposite, where they're taking advantage of some of these dogs early and then coming back at a discounted price when they like the favorite. This week, like I said, that the playing field has changed. It really has. And for us bettors, our approach has to change as well. For me, I'm just being a lot more selective. In baseball, we're doing really well. We're running hot right now, but I'm staying very, very selective and going to continue with that, especially as we await football, man, because just the opportunities that are there for you during football aren't there elsewhere, because the amount of public money that's bet on football forces books to do things they don't do in any other sport. That's why you see in college football, you'll get value that you just don't get elsewhere in other markets. I love getting a Peruvian soccer game or, some obscure markets, you have edges in those, but it's a different animal when you're talking NFL and college football, because not only do you have those edges, but you could get down a lot of money, which makes that edge even greater as far as value goes. So yeah, everyone's just chomping at the bits, awaiting what's coming. And lucky for us, it's already here. Don't wait, fire, and best of luck to everybody.
Yeah, I agree with the sky was going to be what I was going to say. They're playing the Storm that's lost 11 in a row. I was kind of betting on the Storm earlier in the midway. They started covering a bunch of spreads. It won a couple
How
games.
long before they convince us Ian Gary's going to beat Makachev?
Pretty,
he's going to sub Makachev.
Ian Gary is fantastic at promos. So if he rips a good couple of promos this week, that's what will happen. Because Makachev doesn't really talk.
That's exactly.
So if Ian Gary does a good promo, that's when it'll start. All right, Contender Series starts tomorrow. Yeah. This is you want to build your bankroll before football season, Contender Series is here, my friends. So here's the schedule. What I know, weigh-ins and face-offs are today on Mondays at noon Eastern. You're not sure if you're going to be there. You haven't got confirmation yet if you're going to be at the fights yet, correct?
Correct.
Oh,
correct. That's a last-minute situation.
Okay,
you got winners.
Yeah, man. So I'm going to do a video. Every week I'll do a video and put them up, but I'm going to wait until like the round props come out and stuff. And I want to make sure everybody makes weight, because that's the thing. Sometimes these fights change and everything. But yeah, here, John Koonman, he's minus 285. He's going to take Crop Shot down and submit him in the first round. Malumba, if you remember Malumba from last year, he fought Rahiki and put on an incredible fight. He's fighting a guy that he's 7 inches shorter than. That one's going to be wild. There's an Indian guy who's going to get knocked into next week in the first round. His name is, he won a bunch of fights on the Indian regional scene and got his head blown off and rode to UFC.
Bilal Hassan's going to knock his head off. I agree.
Oh 100%. Yeah, it's not going to, it's going to be fun for all of us except for Psychia. This Escarrega Abe fight is pretty good. I kind of lean Escarrega. And then Anthony Wint. You're going to love Anthony Wint. And what I was saying is the last couple of years, they've had problems in the first week of Contender Series where guys would go the distance and Dana would get pissed off and be like, no, you're supposed to knock people out. They have fixed that this year. They have put some bad fighters against some knockout artists. They are guaranteeing some murders in the middle of the ring with this one. So Anthony Wint.
The only negative is you got to get down early on some of those. Like Wint opened minus 300. You know what I mean? Now you're looking at minus 900, and you had all of 2.5 minutes to get them before minus 800. Like, you know what I mean? And that's hard to do. That's the negative of Contender Series. That you got to be quick on the draw on some of these favorites, or it forces you on some ugly dogs that don't have a shot. That's the problem.
Yeah, I normally wait for props and some round ones to try and extract some value out of it. So, all right, Gianni, I know you got to get going. You got another appointment. What do you have up for everybody on this Monday?
Yes, sir. I have the UFC cards already up. Already released 3 or 4 premiums. Like I said, I got way ahead of this UFC 330 card. I got about 6 bets. By the end of the day, there'll probably be all 6 of them will be in there. Futures are out. Again, NFL and college football win totals. They are final. 6 in college football, 3 in the NFL. And then I have national championship winner and Super Bowl winner futures also out. And the first college football package is up and available. And of course, I'll have the preseason. Once I send out the first play to my subscribers, I'll get that up as well. So big week ahead. Best of luck to all. Just take your time. We have nothing but time and opportunity ahead. We got football till January, early February. So you don't have to bury your book the first week. Just take your time. We'll have a lot of opportunity to make money. Best of luck to everybody this week.
Thanks, Gianni. Appreciate it.
Thank you, brother.
Gianni the Greek, everyone. Let's see. So in the chat, talking about WNBA, WNBA is in the headlines. So I see Ski is in the chat as well. I've never seen anything like this with WNBA, Dan. So you have the sport of WNBA, but then you have all the non-sport issues.
Yeah.
You've got race, you've got culture, you've got gender. Like, it's a mix of everything. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like it. The first problem WNBA has is they need a commissioner that is just for WNBA. Yeah. This thing where the NBA is trying to oversee, it's not working. There's no leadership. There's no like where we're going. As far as the sport goes, they're having a great year. The sport, the basketball, is really, really good. The problem is they're in the headlines, but I don't think it's translating to viewers. And this is the problem ultimately that they have is people that don't watch the WNBA all of a sudden have very strong opinions about certain players. And that's fine if you want to be in the headlines. But if it's not turning into season ticket holders, if it's not turning into, your average guy, oh, the Fever on tonight, I'll watch that. Oh, the Lynx are on, I'll watch that. It's a real problem. And now you have the WNBA that is now being featured on political shows. And that's never a good thing, because it doesn't equate to sales. It doesn't equate to revenue, because you're talking about the issues and not the actual sport. I don't think Sophie Cunningham is that great for the WNBA. I'm not really sure. She's polarizing, no doubt about that. But is she great for bringing in fans and viewers that, bring in revenue? I'm not that sure. As far as what is being talked about here in Indiana, it's sad, but this team is really unlikable. A lot of people that liked the team last year don't like the team this year. Caitlin Clark whines all the time. She's like the new Luca in terms of like bitching to the refs. Sophie comes off the bench. She's not even a starter. Sometimes she can hit 6 3-pointers. Sometimes she scores 2 points. But here in Indiana, they're just not that likable. A bunch of my friends that liked them last year and like Caitlin Clark don't talk about them because they're just not a great product to watch right now. They've got real problems, but the good thing is the league has talent. They have storylines. They have other things that they can build upon. They just don't have the leadership that knows how to handle it and put it in the right direction. And it really sucks because the basketball has been pretty good this year. The Fever and Aces just put on one of the best games I've ever seen. Best regular season game I have ever seen in WNBA. So, like, I don't like when I hear this league being talked about in, the political ways and whatever your opinion is. It's just not good. It's not good for the league because it's not equaling views. That's my opinion on it. Well, it's great talking points, but
it's something that, you talk about often too, is if you do go into that sphere, automatically you're turning off. And again, percentages may be a little bit different here, a little bit different there, but you're turning off 50% of your potential audience that would view in, that would listen in. So I'm right there with you. I do think it's funny because what spurred all of this on is one of the more entertaining players in the league, just from a personality aspect, and that's Sophie Cunningham, and you have people in the comments, Sophie the trophy. It's just funny to me because, she speaks out, she makes, whatever comments and whatever you agree with, whatever you don't agree with. That's not what I'm saying. It's just funny to me because then she goes, everyone wants to talk about anything except basketball, which is Andy's point. He's like, yeah, let's just talk about the basketball.
Sophie, you brought it up. Sophie, you
started this.
You started
and then it's funny because the point since she said, let's just talk about, let's talk about just basketball. 3 points, 2 points, 3 points. And the biggest story of anything that happened was the foul that happened for us. So it's like, since you've been focusing, you've been taking that, 8.5 points you've been averaging on the season, Sophie, and you've been really flying under that number. So maybe you need to focus a little bit more on the basketball side of things as well.
And now the WNBA players, they're not being asked about their opponents, or they're not asked about the style. They're being asked, what do you think about what do you think what somebody tweeted? What do you think what do you think about this? They're not asking about like, hey, what's your game plan? Hey, how are you going to get past the Lynx defense? Hey, how are you going to score? The questions are about anything that's basketball. And again, it just goes back to leadership. It's a rudderless ship that is just sailing in the middle of the night with no direction, no course. And until they get that fixed, it's just going to keep getting worse and worse and worse. I'll continue to watch the games. I'll continue to bet on them. I love the sport. I love the games. But yeah, some of the antics of some of the players like can be annoying, but I find it entertaining just as a sport to watch. But yeah, they've got talent, they've got potential, but again, they just don't have the leadership to help spur them on. So, all right, okay, let's bring in Bill. That's enough of me ranting. Normally Mondays is Bill ranting. Now you got me ranting on the WNBA. Bill, happy Monday. How are you?
Hey guys, I didn't know. I really didn't know that in Indiana, like you telling me the fans and the public they don't like these girls. I didn't know the home team crowds. I thought they were more for Caitlin Clark. I didn't know. Now, granted, I know there's always a little bit of controversy. I know she just had a technical that was reversed or something. I heard. Um, so they may get some favoritism or something, but I just thought the home crowd, the Indiana. I didn't realize there was that much negativity as far as the homers go. So I'm surprised to hear you say that, Andy.
They've lost the casuals.
Yeah, the casuals, right.
The hardcore. You're not losing me. I'm gonna watch. I'll watch all the games and everything. But my buddy next door, my good friend KJ, watched almost every game last year. This year does not mention them. Couldn't tell you if they're winning, losing, whatever. All the noise has pushed away the person. Oh, the Fever's on. I guess I'll watch them. No, they're out of sight, out of mind. The hardcore people that go to the games and watch it like me, we're always going to watch. But they're not in the news. They're not in the headlines. It's the worst. It's the worst thing you can be. Irrelevant. It's John Cena. When John Cena, the wrestler, told his opponent, when I come out, half the crowd boos, half the crowd cheers. When you come out, nobody does anything. And that's the worst. That's the worst place you can be. So yes, that's my stance from what's going on here in the city. So,
I got you. Okay, I'll tell you what is in the news and isn't very relevant right now is preseason football, because I know people think there's still that population, not the people watching Wager Talk. They're smarter than that, but there is a population that says, you're betting preseason football? You're a degenerate. You must be crazy. How can you possibly bet that? Yesterday, I put out I had to put let me look at my Twitter real quick. I had to retweet this girl that works for ESPN. She just constantly keeps on saying, oh, there's nobody beats preseason football. No one bets preseason football. And yesterday, again, ain't nobody locked into preseason football. Bunch of liars. So I had to retweet what she said. And I said, I only wish Pam was a consultant to the many sports books that limit myself and others to pennies on preseason football. Because she just doesn't know. And nothing against her. And, she's actually a great writer, I'm told, for ESPN. She knows the team. She knows the inner workings. I just don't know about the sports betting end, especially I think she lives in Texas, and you're not legally allowed to bet. So it just, I had to say something because it's just not true. I mean, personally, I wish there was 20 weeks of regular NFL and only 3 weeks. I'm sorry, vice versa. I wish there was 20 weeks of preseason football and only 3 weeks of regular. That's how good preseason is if you have information, if you're on the inside. So, like Gianni said, these preseason football lines, they move so much. You have to be in on the information, which I am, as people know right now that have subscribed to the Wager Talk. I've been telling you to have your notifications on, and maybe just have a separate email for the notifications. This way, your phone's not being bothered with every email that comes to you, and get a separate email just for the notifications. As you see there, if you have your notifications on, you're getting the best of it with the NFL, the preseason NFL, and now you'll have that same thing with the NFL props during the season. I have some. I was just telling my right hand man, my assistant, I have some NFL season long player props. I'm going to throw them up there. I know people don't like tying up their money as it is. I have a lot of regular season wins that I've played. I bet under on. Here's a freebie. I don't know if I gave out on the shows, but it's up on Wager Talk. But I'm going to give one out free here, just thinking of it. So I already had Washington, the Commanders under season wins, and I had that up on Wager Talk for probably over a month now. Well, now they just lost one of their top guys and 5-time all pro guy lineman. And that also is in effect. People just say, it's a lineman, no big deal. Well, when you have a lineman to this quality, it definitely is going to show. And now I still see under. So I actually went in. I bet a lot on this. I still seen yesterday when I was doing my Fox Sports radio show. Let's see, futures. I'm just looking at BetMGM because I had their director on the show yesterday. Let me just make sure Washington's still at BetMGM. This is definitely worth the bet still. Under 7.5 wins, even money or plus money. It's actually plus $1.10 in a couple spots. So that I still think that's worth the bet under the Commanders. In that situation, I'm actually going to be Dallas Cowboys supposed to be better, supposed to have a better season. I hope you guys do because I'm against a couple of your guys. I'm against a couple of those a couple of those teams in that division. So right now we have 5 plays up at WagerTalk for preseason football, and a couple of them, I think 2 of them, you could still get the line or close to the line. And of course, I would rather lay Pick'em minus $1.25 than lay 1.5 and 2 on these games. Only because the 1, the 2 is very important. The 1 is the very important number. If a team's up 21-14 at the end of the game, and the team with the 14 points is driving, they're not going to play for a tie. They're gonna throw the ball and go for 2, or run the ball and go for 2 at the end. So they're going to either win or lose by 1 point. So that's why the 1's so key in preseason football. So yeah, I got some games up, guys. And look, I always tell people preseason is where it's at. NFL player props is where it's at. And yeah, guys, I hope to have another successful season. I hate to be cocky and arrogant and saying I'm going to, but I've never had a losing preseason football season. So though week 1 a little bit. I think week 1 compared to week 2 and 3. I like 2 and 3 are my major weeks to get aboard. So it just so happens that this is a great week to talk about that, really, because week 1 plays. Like I said, I put up 5. Very confident in them. I have a lot of money on them. I'm willing to say there's nobody in the sports selling picks game that bets more money on their stuff than me. So I'm looking to bet max bets on everything. Player props as much as I can get down. Preseason football as much as I can get down. I only wish the books took more money. That's my only thing. I have some good outs here in town. I have one place taking 3 dimes a play, another place taking 2 dimes a play. I'm very happy. But yeah, so I'm giving to you guys first, though. We sent them on a wager talk. I don't want to poison the line that quickly, because if you do bet something, if I bet something, they're going to overmove it right away. So I a good crowd at Wager Talk. I noticed I could send out stuff and keep it there, especially NFL player props. My God, when I send out a player prop, I can't believe it. They just don't move everywhere where like the preseason does. But yeah, so the NFL player props have been real successful for the Wager Talk group, as we know. As a matter of fact, I got a text from Johnny Detroit the other day. I did not know this. It cracked number one right now on 5%. I didn't know this. Number 1 on 5% plays on Wager Talk lifetime, over 61.5%. Johnny sent me that just a couple of days ago. And I know we got this rating service that rate, these guys that have nothing to do. They never had toys when they were a kid, so they have nothing to do. They rate you on, and I seen like they had me on such negative. I was like, you know why? They just don't realize that if I'm betting 1% on a baseball play, well, I'm betting 5% on something, or 4% on all my props, or 4% on a prop. That means I'm betting 4x when I'm betting on a baseball play. But they want to rate you at everything because they don't buy the picks. They just go by some, it's just, I get too mad at this stuff. You're supposed to ignore this stuff. But if you guys are along with me at Wager Talk, you know to bet more on preseason football. You know to bet more on NBA player props, NFL player props, WNBA player props, baseball player props. And I know I'm doing a lot of talking here, guys. Guess what I have for you? Along with that Washington Commanders, I have a free player prop. So
Let's go.
Let me give you
let's
guys
hear it.
let me give you guys a Major League Baseball player prop today. I have the Orioles starting pitcher Trevor Rogers over 17.5 outs. He's covered this number in 5 straight. He's up against a Twins team that really struggled against lefties. And so that's Trevor Rogers over recorded 17 and a half recorded outs. It's minus $1.40. That's fine. But yeah, he's went over this number, like I said, plenty of times. So there's a free player prop for you guys. And again, you guys still have a chance there. I just told you about week 2 and 3. So get on to a longer term package. You want to get on to I said it during preseason. I'm sorry, but I said it during March Madness. I said it during the Super Bowl, and I'm going to say it again. You want to get on a long-term package. Listen, I was charging $500 a month for this for years and done very, very successful. It took, like in The Godfather, it took WagerTalk to keep on coming at me for 2 years saying, Crack, come over here and join us. We're going to give you an offer you can't refuse, like The Godfather. But so anyway, that is my previous site. I was selling for $500 a month, and I had plenty of people on it. So now you can get it the whole season for ridiculous amounts of money here. Just go to WagerTalk and look my name up there, and they got a great deal for the full season. Make sure you get on for the player props and preseason football. I think I've said enough.
Yeah, and WT.buzz/Crackman is the quickest way to get over there to Bill's page and check it out. As you mentioned, NFL season, you can grab in that NFL season pass, or you just want action through the end of the year, not just NFL. You want some NBA action, his WNBA props, his college football, college basketball that comes. You can lock in through the end of the year. So December 31st, 2026, all those 5% plays included in that price. Just $7.99 through the end of the year. It's a crazy one, Bill. Yeah, $7.99 for all access, or you can check out his page, WT.buzz/Crackman. We got Steve Merril coming up, Bill, but one thing I just wanted to ask you on quick, because I love watching Wisecracks before it was even here at WagerTalk TV. I think you do a great job with that show. And for the longest time, the backdrop that I would see on that show was it was over at the Westgate. And I tune in this week. I not only see that you have a guest on of Derek Stevens. The background looks great, man. We're shooting at Circa now for that show. So I know you're excited about that. You can check out the show with Derek Stevens right here on the channel. Hit that subscribe button. You won't miss it. But I know you're pumped up about heading across town over to Circa. And it seems like, in fact, you got Derek Stevens on week 1. They're treating you pretty well over there, Crack.
Hey, Dan, thank you for mentioning that. I'm terrible. I've got terrible ADD, and I don't get to mention it. Thank you for mentioning that, because I'm very good friends with Derek. And when I text him and I said, listen, Caesars is taking over at Westgate, I'd like to come over there and do the show. And he said, please, we want you here. And they actually, Mike Palm and Dave, the CFO over there, they brought me over there, made me feel so good. They said, Crack, because I was worried about where I was going to film. I want to have some background. It's not like one thing about Westgate, you can go in and film anywhere. It's great. They have signs up at every entrance. We're filming in here. So the Circa doesn't have that. I was like, oh man, I hope I can pick a good spot. I hope they give me a good spot. When those two guys walked me in the sports book and they said, Crack, we have a meeting every week. We talk about all different decisions. When we mentioned that we're going to have Wisecracks over here, does anyone have anything to say? Usually there's always a devil's advocate with something. Everyone said, absolutely, this is going to be wonderful. This is going to be great. And Crack, pick where you want to film. Film anywhere you want. Have the whole background, whatever you want. And to have that right in the heart of the sports book with the Sports Betting Hall of Fame behind me, the wagering boards behind me, the contest behind me, and of course, Derek Stevens come on. Derek Stevens was so transparent. If you guys didn't watch Wisecracks last week, please do yourselves a favor and watch it. I can't believe how transparent Derek Stevens was. He's like, it cost us $7 million here to do this. However, I make $2 million in food. I make $2 million at restaurants, at the bars, $2 million at the pool. I mean, he was really throwing around some numbers and being so transparent on the show. And I also had Chris Felica, the Bear, on the show. My co-host on Fox Sports Radio, Jeff Schwartz. And I had one of my guys, the Wager Wire guys, on there. So a great show, great guest. Derek Stevens was on for a half hour, talked about a plethora of things, and it was a great episode. And Dan, thank you for saying that. Making sure some people watch that.
Absolutely. Hit that subscribe button. You'll know when it goes live. Plenty more coming with Derek Stevens with the partnership we got there over at Circa. So keep it going, man. keep those plays hitting, Bill, and always a pleasure, my man. We'll see you next Monday.
Thank you, guys, and thank you, everyone, for liking, subscribing, and following. Thank you, guys. Take care.
Absolutely. WT.buzz/Crackman, where you can get that all access at. But yeah, man, Circa, that's an awesome thing, and having guys like Derek, here on the channel giving information, it's invaluable stuff that you hear it from the mouths of the odds makers, from the mouths of the decision makers, and with VR we get runners. So yeah, we got professional handicappers on here, but we hit it from every single angle on WagerTalk. So folks, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and tell your friends. This is going to be the biggest season yet.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a big fall. Want to get everybody just what to expect moving forward about Contender Series. So Contender Series starts tomorrow. You guys know I handicap Contender Series. And more importantly, we do our live shows. It's kind of hard to say you're the best at something, or like, what do I do the best? Our Contender Series live shows are the best Contender Series live shows on the market. I will put ours up against any of them. You're not going to beat our live shows. So here's what's going to happen. Weigh-ins and face-offs are Mondays. Monday night, I will probably put up a $5 Tuesday play. It'll be up Monday night or Tuesday morning. The preview video will be out once everyone makes weight, so we can get a $5 Tuesday play. That's 10 weeks in a row. So every Tuesday, just plan on there's going to be a $5 Tuesday play. Hit our 5% in UFC over the weekend. The weekend was a banger. You hit an under in overtime, which never happens.
Yeah, no, but the nice thing was it wasn't even like we really were like, oh God, we're gonna die, because we had 26.5. We had the under. I was on last call with Joe Ranieri, and I said, hey man, our client plays hadn't been going too great doing these player props, so I gave out a free player prop on that play at plus money, or on that show. We hit that one, so I was feeling good vibes. We had an under that, as it was getting late in the game, I was like, it got to be the fourth quarter. I was like, all right, they need 9 goals in the fourth quarter to hit the over. The funny thing is, Andy, if we had the over, I would have been like, we only need 9 goals to hit it. So it's just the frame of mind.
Exactly. Yeah,
so
things are running
lacrosse
great.
And UFC was great again this weekend.
We hit a NASCAR play with 5 laps to go. Our guy had a bad pit stop, and he makes a pass with 5 laps to go. We win that one, and then Jan hits a cricket play that was dead in the water. Our team makes a miraculous comeback. So things are running good. We're number 1 last 30 days. We have a 4% MLB play that is up today. That's on a 22-7 run. I've took the last couple days off with MLB, but again, there's so many packages out there. Don't get a play. Invest in this 6 days. That we're still running. The buy 3 days, you get 3 free. It's a no-brainer. It gets you every play starting today, moving forward. So we're in a really, really nice groove. 61% over the last 30 days in all sports. So jump on board. It's $25 for 1 play today, or for $69 you can get 6 days. It really is a no-brainer. It makes no sense to get 1 play. Just get a package. We got a tennis doubles play that goes off later today. So looking forward to the run continuing. That's over at WT.buzz/AL. All right. After we talk to Steve Merril, I have my first fantasy football draft. I've uploaded my team. Dan is going to rate my team and see how good I did. And then we're going to go over quarterback NFL future. I can't wait to see if everyone thinks my team is as good as mine, because I think I crushed. I think I got a championship roster for my team. So what's up, Steve? How are you?
Yeah, I don't know if I told you the story, Andy. I did my first fantasy league ever in 50 years 2 years ago. Never did it over the years, because I was always team specific. The player prop stuff wasn't my thing. And high school buddies wrote me into it 2 years ago. We each put in like $20, winner take all. And I did the draft with them. That was kind of fun. And I, logged into ESPN, and I couldn't remember my password. And I was actually coaching a baseball game on the first Sunday of the regular season, so I couldn't even log in to check. I won that week, won like the next week. I won like 3 of the first 4 weeks without even knowing my password, never log it in. So I just like set it and forget it. Everyone makes the playoffs. It's a 4, whatever. I thought everyone made the playoffs. And then apparently that's not how it works. The top 4, like the 8 makes the playoffs. And my one buddy, like 2 hours afterwards on a Sunday night, like in week 5, like, Merril lost by 40, would have won by 80 had he logged in and just moved all of his Eagles who are on a bye week to the inactive. And I missed it by 1. I missed the playoffs by 1 game. I don't think I would have won the whole thing, which made me feel a lot better, because I would have been really pissed. But Yeah, literally all I had to do, Andy, was just put all my Eagles running by. I stacked like Jalen Hurts, all the receivers, the kicker. And all I had to do was move them, and I would have like won easily that week with all the backups. So anyway, I found the login after that. I kind of had fun with it, but I was like, I'm never doing this again. This is why I don't do freaking fantasy. Wasted $20.
You didn't do it. You didn't do it.
Did not do it last year. Correct. They invited all of us back, and I politely declined, and my one buddy wanted like 2 entries for like his kid and him. I was like, he can have mine.
Yeah.
Go at it.
Take it.
But here's what's better. This is even better, though, is little Merril last year did his first fantasy in 7th grade with his buddies, and there was no cash involved, which made me very disappointed. But instead, the loser had to do a milk mile. And
oh, God.
I think he ended up technically losing out of the 8, but then some kid dropped out. I was like, you're not doing the effing milk mile, man. I'll tell you right now. You pay him $20 for that. You're not doing that, man. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. That is, and for anybody who doesn't know, I had to look it up. I'm not going to explain what it is, but just look it up. I figured Andy might know, being a soccer guy. You soccer guys are kind of sick with that running stuff. So,
there's a great fantasy football punishment going around on social media where a guy had to show up at a golf course and play a round of golf with complete strangers, but he couldn't use a ball.
He couldn't tell him what he was there for and not use a ball.
So he's swinging it. He's swinging in air and like,
but he like can't. But he doesn't get to explain it. So he's like, he would like hit it off the tee, Steve, and then he would go back to the golf cart.
Oh my
and be
goodness!
Like, I really roped that one.
That's like Impractical Jokers right there, Dan. My favorite show ever, probably. That is a great Impractical Jokers one. Oh, that's funny.
The strangers got into it though. So like they would pick the fake ball up out of the cup for him. Oh, great putt!
Well, you never had to worry about slow play, right? That's a one advantage there, I guess. Who was filming this? Or it's like buddies filming this or something?
His buddy was like kind of like filming. Like,
you kind of know something's up pretty early on, I guess, when you got 3 guys with beers filming a camera of a guy not hitting a golf ball. That's pretty good. That's a good one for the comments, Andy. Viewers, drop in your fantasy football punishments maybe over this entire week. I like that. I might do that in some of my videos as well. That's a pretty cool, because I got to get these kids off the milk mom. These kids, man, they do the stupid stuff like snorting Clorox or whatever, or Tide crystals. You got to be careful.
Pods.
Pods. We didn't do that stuff, man.
All right. Well, our generation did.
I was just going to say, Andy, I've said this many times. It is a good thing there were not camera phones when we were all in college. Everyone thinks society is so bad. I was like, these kids are wusses, man, because if they did 1/10 of what we did, it'd be on national media every day, which tells you how lame these kids really are. But then they're like snorting Clorox and Tide Pods. So I don't know. The logic is just.
I don't know. I don't know how I couldn't have survived college with camera phones.
It wouldn't have been as much fun.
Expelled. I would have been arrested.
No, see, you wouldn't have been. That's the thing, though. You would have studied more, and it wouldn't have been nearly as fun. See, I don't think we would have been. We would have adjusted, unfortunately, which would have been even worse.
I'm just saying that when my senior year, IU was ranked as the #1 party school. The year after I graduated, they dropped to 3. I'm just saying.
Carried his weight.
Some correlation there.
Just saying. All right, let's get to some MLB games.
That's a great line, Andy. Great stat.
Just saying. And now it's weird because like my buddy has a son that has a full ride scholarship to IU, and it's like, oh my God, how old are we? Like,
that's unacceptable.
Yeah. All right, let's talk MLB here. We got Brewers, Padres, Rays, Athletics. We got Henderson for the Brewers, Mize for the Padres. We got Peralta for the Rays, Lopez for the Athletics. I'll let you break both games down and tell us what you have up at WagerTalk.
So there are 10 MLB games tonight on Monday, 10 games. And I've got 40% of them covered, and I'm not a high volume guy. In fact, I've only got one best bet tonight. It's in a different game, and I've also got a bonus free play in the late game between the Royals and Dodgers. Do the Dodgers stay cold or they heat up tonight? I've got the answer. So 2 games for you at WagerTalk.com. But we're going to look at 2 more games here on the late card as free plays, and they're interesting games to talk about because both games have pitchers that were traded over the last week during the trade deadline, and both of the new starters did not find new life with their current teams. In fact, they both struggled. So we'll discuss whether they look better tonight or not. First game we're going to talk about is the Rays and the Athletics. So you can talk about haves and have-nots. Oakland's only in 4th place in their own division, but don't let that fool you. Don't let the fact that the Angels are behind them by 2 games fool you, because the Athletics are the worst team in baseball. In fact, if you look at expected run differential, or actual run differential, which gives you an expected 1-loss record, The Athletics are a minus 164 runs in the season. Well, yeah, how's that? No other team in baseball is worse than minus 110. The Rockies and Royals are both minus 110. So the Athletics are 54 negative runs worse than anybody else in baseball. Maybe that explains why they went 5-25 their previous 30 games, as I was doing last call on Saturday with Joe Ranieri here. And lo and behold, right after we talked about the futility, they won back-to-back games on both Saturday and Sunday at Boston. 11-6 combined scores. Now they travel cross-country without rest back home. Well, not back home, back to Sacramento. They don't have a home. They're homeless. They're the Athletics. They have no city, apparently. But I do think maybe that was the bottoming of that falling knife. We never try to catch a falling knife. And yes, they're just 6-24 their last 30 still. And just, 7-25 their last 32. But look, even the worst teams in baseball win almost 40% games. And even after the 5-25 slide, they're still at 39% for the season. And then you've got the Devil Rays, the Rays. Don't call them the Oakland Athletics. Don't call them the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, damn it. They're 71-46 on the season, and they're in first place in the AL East, the very competitive AL East. But their home road split's been extreme. This year, they're 20-some games up at home. And we talked about this Saturday on last call as well. And once again, the great momentum shift. We talk about the A's can't win. They win back-to-back games. And then Joe and I talked about how the Devil Rays are so much better at home, 41-18 this year, just 28-28 on the road. Whoop. Well, they went back-to-back wins on Saturday and Sunday. In fact, they swept Seattle, and they won the games in Colorado as well earlier in the week. So that terrible road record that 6 games ago was sitting with the Rays at just 24-28 on the season is now suddenly 30-28. But the fact remains, their home road splits for years now, the last 4 or 5 years, has been pretty extreme. And one of the reasons is because they have a terrible home ballpark. And by the way, don't look at last year. They played in a AAA stadium. They were just 1 game above 500. You got to throw that one out. Trop Field is miserable. It's a bad atmosphere for the opposing teams. So the Rays' records are always a little inflated. I know it's ugly. I know you got to hold your nose here. But the Athletics actually fit my long-term underdog system, which I developed almost 30 years ago back in the 90s. It's a contrarian indicator, and the Athletics fit that tonight. So I do like Oakland plus 140 here. You also could take a little bit of a hedge and take the run line at minus, I think the run line last I checked in this one, instead of taking plus 40, you're getting like minus 115, minus 120. So if you want a little extra protection, but the total is 10 here. It's a hitter-friendly park. I like the Athletics here. I know it's a contrarian call. It's hard to make a case for them on the surface. But the other thing I will point out is the pitching edge actually might go to the A's tonight as well. Jacob Lopez has not been good this year, 5.6 ERA. But Freddie Peralta has been just as bad, 5.4 ERA. And yes, he was traded by the Mets a couple weeks ago, the hapless Mets, to the Contender Rays. But as I said earlier, it was not a spark. He got lit up, no pun intended, in his first start with Tampa last week. Yeah, they held on to win that game at Colorado, but he gave up 9 hits and 7 runs in just 3 innings. Yes, it was in the altitude, but keep in mind, Sacramento is one of the most hitter-friendly parks outside of Coors Field in baseball. I think Lopez might have the pitching edge tonight. A's starting to heat up, perhaps. Rays a little overrated. Take a look at Oakland as a live dog plus $1.40 tonight. Ruff, ruff. Live underdog here at 9:40 Eastern. All right, the other game we're going to talk about on the late card is also a pitcher that was just moved during the trade deadline, and this one is Milwaukee-San Diego, also at 9:40 Eastern. 2 teams in playoff contention. In fact, the Brewers are having a fantastic season, currently 30 games above 500. Thing is, though, they're not taking their foot off the gas like the Dodgers because the Cubs are on their heels. In fact, the Cubs have the 4th best record in the National League. They're 6 games up in the wild card race, and despite the fact that the Brewers are 30 games above 500, they're just 5.5 games up in the divisional standings. That's one of the reasons they've gone 7-3 their last 10 games. And unlike the Dodgers, they haven't taken their foot off the gas or continue to play hard. Both these teams, Padres and Brewers, 7-3 their last 10. They're both 13-7 their last 20. But San Diego is still in just 3rd place in the NL West, way behind the Dodgers and also behind the D-backs and fighting for those wild card spots. San Diego enters here off back-to-back wins against Houston. Meanwhile, Milwaukee has won 5 of 6, and they had back-to-back wins at home against Minnesota. Traveling without rest here, though, after the getaway games on Sunday. Pitching matchups are what I want to talk about. We got Logan Henderson, who's having a really nice season. Only 50 innings pitched, but a solid 2.7 ERA this year. And he's been pretty strong as well since coming back. He got shut down after mid-May, didn't make any starts for 2 months. His last 5 outings, he's looked pretty solid still. And he's given up 2 runs or less in each of his last 4 outings. He only goes about 5 innings. They're a little cautious with him. So Milwaukee's strong bullpen will probably get extra work tonight. But Casey Mize is a real X factor. Here's another guy traded from the Tigers, who weren't exactly not contenders, but they were a seller at the trade deadline. And he is now on the Padres. And boy, did Mize not pitch well, just like Peralta at his first start with his new team last week, 5 days ago, on August 5th at Arizona. Another hitter-friendly park, which is ironic. But still, he gave up 8 runs on 9 hits in just 3 innings. And what really jumps out is he only had 1 strikeout and he had 3 walks. So control was a problem. The question becomes, does he bounce back tonight? I think he actually does, because he's still got a solid 3.4 ERA on the season. He was pitching well at Detroit before the deadline. Not very familiar with pitching at Arizona, to say the least, because he was an American League pitcher. And now he's at home. Not that he's familiar with San Diego, but Petco is always more of a pitcher-friendly ballpark. I think he'll have a spark here with the new team at home. Take a look at the Padres with Casey Mize in a bounce-back spot tonight. And they're actually a dog at about plus 105 here as well, because Milwaukee's been so strong this year. I think this is another live dog tonight. San Diego plus 105 at 9:40 Eastern. You could look at that on the run line, or you could just take the +1 and get it around minus 110 at a pick 'em price. All right, 2 free plays on the late card for you. Don't forget, I've got 2 other games tonight for you as well at WagerTalk.com right now. A strong best bet, which is going out to my personal clients tonight. My favorite play on the board is my single best bet tonight out of the 10 games, the strongest play on the board. And then the second strongest play, in my opinion, is the game that was just a bit outside for making the cut. And, of course, that goes up as a daily free play, and that is the late-night game between the Royals and Dodgers tonight. And that's on my page free right now for Monday. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, and get there quicker with shortcut WT.buzz/SM. And don't forget, I'll have free play videos throughout the week for baseball here, and also more NFL preseason free play videos. Gave you the Panthers and the over on Thursday. That Thursday night football has just been incredible the last few years. Even in the preseason, we don't cool off. And I've got more coming this week. So make sure you click subscribe and you click the bell as well for an instant notification throughout this week and every week, so you know when the free play videos are loaded daily for baseball and football, which is here as well. Also, some special offers, buy 3, get 3 on my page. Rest of the year for 47% off, almost half price, 47% discount for the rest of the year, all sports. That gets football, baseball, and basketball for the rest of 2026. And also keep an eye out for a special offer that'll be coming this week, a 1-year all-access pass, which is going to include membership to my weekly market call, which starts in September. It's going to be every Thursday night before the NFL prime games. And we're going to deep dive into those. Also, an advanced look at my Fade the Public information before the video is released. Also, an advanced look at my college top 25 data, my 10,000 game simulation power ratings, all in advance of the videos. You get insider access. So keep an eye out for this market call invitation and special offers will be up this week on my page, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. And once again, get there quicker, WT.buzz/SM.
Great stuff, Steve. Good breakdowns. Awesome. That's going to be cool. That market call.
Yeah, excited about it.
A lot of fun. Yeah,
just
absolutely.
announced it Saturday with Joe, and I did it in my videos. This is actually the 3rd spot I've mentioned it, because I wanted to let you guys know as well here on Wager Talk TV. Yeah, a little bit like the Steam Room, but different. But it'll be a live interactive with direct clients, same concept. And market call, we might work in a little bit of the financial markets. It's not off limit. Little Bitcoin talk here or there. It's what the public wants, right? But yeah, Andy, it's funny because people have always wanted like the Fade the Public a little earlier, and it's hard because I get a lot of data on Friday that kind of fine tunes it for me. So this will be a good little bridge there. I'll let people what's looking public maybe on Thursday for people that need to put in contest picks. And by the way, we're going to talk about that too, like survivor picks and other contest strategies as well. And then also advanced look at the college football stuff. So I think Thursday night's going to be that sweet spot. But I will say real quick, when we were confirming the dates and everything, I was making sure September 10th was the first Thursday night regular season game. And then I realized, there's a game on Wednesday as well. And it just happens to be the Super Bowl rematch, as you know. Patriots. So we're going to do both Wednesday and Thursday that week. And we'll have more information on that here in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, pin that in, and we'll make the times work for everyone. Probably around 7 Eastern, I'm thinking. But here again, I'm a man of the people. I'm flexible. I've got good flexibility. I stretch.
some people, how could you do fade the public early? You have to wait for the public to get involved
Right,
in the game before
exactly.
you can do the fade the public
more
video.
data with the public.
I need that sooner.
Monday and Tuesday doesn't work quite as
Sunday
well.
Morning.
As
the public
Friday
doesn't bet until
night,
Sunday
Saturday
morning, but you need to tell me it on Thursday, Steve. Come on.
Exactly. And the other thing, as you guys know, I mean, the injury report comes out Friday at 4 p.m. And
exactly
that does play a factor, you know, as far as where the lines are going to be and some information I can give out on the video. So I'm always trying to record it like right after that. But we do know a lot of times on Wednesday or Thursday what's looking really public, right? So I think Thursday would be a great entry level thing into the fade the public, and it'll help me fine tune some stuff as well. But yeah, something I forgot to mention, first time I'll mention it here, is that we're going to talk about contests too, like survivor pick strategy early in the season before we're all eliminated. Hopefully not by late September, but also pick 5 contests. I know a lot of people are in that, and that's another reason to fade the public information a little earlier might help people, because some people do have to get their picks in earlier before the Thursday. For example, if you're going to use a Thursday night game, you got to get all 5 picks in. So if someone's borderline on a game and I say, hey, this is looking public, that might be enough to, flip the switch for them. So yeah, looking forward to this all football season long. Market call, Merrill's market call, MMC. I think we're going with that.
I may just pick that Super Bowl rematch for my very first Survivor pick, just to set the tone for the season.
Yeah, and I think how few people will have that one too, right? Because it's Wednesday. Even I forgot that game was on there until I looked at the schedule. I was like, whoopsie, that's kind of a big one.
Every day of the week, NFL.
Good stuff.
They know what they're doing.
Steve Merril, thank you
Thanks, guys.
every Monday. Appreciate you jumping
Steve.
on here, Steve Merril. All right. So Dan, we got NFL futures, and then we got you get to grade my fantasy football team. Let's do the NFL future. We can show a graphic. It's QB Monday. We're going to break down Jayden Daniels. Tomorrow, talk Nico Collins, then Christian McCaffrey, then the Super Bowl winner, Seattle Seahawks. Friday is a viewer choice. Put in the comments if you want a certain team, player prop, any future you want us to break down on Friday. We can do that. But let's talk Jayden Daniels here. Third year for Jayden. He was injury plagued last year, and it is cliche to just be Robert Griffin all over again, but God, the similarities are just oh man. We should have kept Steve on here for this one to get his thoughts. But it's 3,249 passing. So in 2024, he went over this one, 3,568. But then last year, 1,262. His wide receivers are Terry McLaurin. They just get Stephon Diggs. Antonio Williams is drafted. They signed Chika Kongwo, who's a sneaky, decent tight end. You got Krosky Merritt as a starting running back. Rashad White, that's a good receiving running back coming out of the backfield. Looking at the ratings for the offensive line, they're middle of the road. They're not great. They're not terrible. They're just, kind of meh. Their defense was terrible last year. They're probably not going to be that good again this year. Could be in some shootouts. They do have the 8th hardest schedule. I can only go under on this one with the terrifying injury factor with this guy. He just doesn't seem to know. This is like the Jackson Dart thing. Just get down, run out of bounds, throw it away. When he's healthy, yeah, he's going to fly over this number if he plays every game. But I will not be playing an over on this one. What do you think?
Well, and this is, I hate to sound like a broken record a lot of times when we do these season totals, but the thing you always have to remember when you're trying to cap these is this factors in he stays healthy. Yeah. And if he stays healthy, you're going to flirt with this number. But even that season where he burst on, Andy, 3,500 yards isn't like he soared over this total. You know what I mean? And that was when he was, offensive rookie of the year caliber. He was, talk of, this guy could be an MVP level player. And then, it didn't end up playing that self out because they ran into my Philadelphia Eagles, who were just a juggernaut that year. But for me, I'm with you, man. It walks like a duck, talks like a duck. Sometimes you got to say, hey, this thing is a duck. And the thing is with Jayden Daniels is, until he shows me I'm not going to put myself in harm's way, you have to say this might be just what kind of player that he is. And even if he doesn't put himself in harm's way, Andy, it's not like he's been packing on the muscle mass, adding a bunch of weight. You look at him and he's still, like a stick. So even you mentioned, is this RG3 all over again? RG3, I think, was just really unlucky. Jayden Daniels is just the size as far as muscle mass, being able to absorb hits, and his play style, it just doesn't factor in. Now, if you're talking all-purpose yards, okay, let's factor in his rushing yards as well, because he will take off and scamper, but only 7 games played last year. This number just seems like it's trying to bait you into, oh, he's going to be healthy and he's going to go over it. I lean under, but with guys that have major injury concern, I don't want to bet any season-long stuff. So I'm with you. I lean towards the under. I think we've talked a lot of other things that went towards client plays. This doesn't even scratch the surface of like a pizza money play for me. I lean under. I would rather find different ways to either bet on or against the Commanders as opposed to going with the season-long Jayden Daniels prop.
Yeah, live chat seems to agree with us. So I hope he can stay healthy, because he's an exciting player. We need quarterbacks, and when he's healthy and accurate, that can be a fun offense. So hope he stays healthy, but I'm not willing to risk my money on it. So, all right, let's do our fantasy. I had my fantasy football draft, and we had a hilarious moment. So last night, it's a Sunday night, not going on. We go to this exact same place. We sit at the exact same table every single year. It's my old college buddies. And like around the 7 o'clock mark, it was pretty clear the manager went home for the night and the kitchen crew took over the music, because it was
the stark drop off.
They played Gimme Dat Nut from Eazy-E, played Hit 'Em Up from Tupac, and these were not the radio edits.
That's good vibes, right?
It was just, that was the music the rest of the night. So it was really funny. All right, here's my fantasy football team. Okay, so I think I nailed it. I love my team. I got Dak as my quarterback. Saquon fell to me in the second round, Dan. So when he was sitting there, I knew I had to take him. That way I can root him on. I've wanted Javonte Williams on my team. I think
it's a good target. He's a guy I'm targeting as well.
Jackson Smith and Jigba was my first round pick. I got Ladd McConkey. Tight end is my weak spot for sure. I got David Montgomery. I think he's going to be really good early in the season before he breaks down, but he's the guy in Houston. I got my Tank Bigsby and Jayden Blue. I got my handcuffs for my starting running backs, and I love these players on my bench: Matthew Golden, Brian Thomas, and Christian Watson. Some high upside. If they suck and get hurt, I can drop them. I love my team. What say you?
Yeah, as far as I look at this roster, I mean, the one thing that does obviously concern me, we're NFC East heavy here, and but Dak, I think, is a guy who I also am targeting. Javonte Williams, I think it's going to be a good offense. There's no reason why Shoddy in year 2 doesn't have that offense take another leap, and they're loaded offensively, especially Dak. Maybe I would have liked to add in one of those wide receivers for a stack, like get a little Pickens action with Dak, but you have to take in drafts what falls to you. And probably around that Pickens spot, Ladd McConkey was on the board. So you're like, do I want the number 2 wide receiver, or do I want the number 1 wide receiver in LA, who also Ladd McConkey this year has Mike McDaniels. This is going to be an offense that's a little bit more high flying maybe and not so run heavy. Grade, and on the whole, I'm going to give this one a B+, Andy. B+. Okay. I like that we got Brandon Aubrey. That's a onesie at the kicker position. I think this Eagles defense is going to get you interceptions. It's going to get you forced fumbles. So I think that Eagles defense and a solid special teams with Tank Bigsby, who you have as your handcuff for Saquon, and you also have the Jayden Blue handcuff. So I think you've injury-proofed yourself at some good positions. I think you also have Jackson Smith and Jigba, who's coming off an insane year, and no reason why that shouldn't be any different. In a 12-team league, I'm shocked that this is 12 teams and this is your roster. That is what I will say. So if I'm grading it, I don't know how it doesn't be an A- if you're taking it in 12 teams. But just with the names on there, I'm going to give you
12
a B+.
teams. 12 teams, half-point PPR. And I did the stack thing on purpose, because now I could watch Cowboys games and I got 3 players. And basically every time the Cowboys score a point, I get points, because I got the quarterback, the running back.
That's a great point.
The field goal kicker. So anytime Dallas scores a point, your boys get
That's actually a really good point. That's a really good point. And I do understand what Rob says in home leagues that's not DFS. I kind of understand that maybe stacks get a little bit overrated, but I do like the way that you have a different type of stack. It's not relying on Dak Prescott scoring touchdowns. You get vultured at the goal line. Guess what? Your guy goes down
Still
at the one.
my running back.
Bring on Javonte.
Yes.
Give me those 6 points. So I like the thought process there. And I'll tell you what, Andy, 12 teams, you can't do much better than what's on the screen right there.
Pretty happy with it. There was a couple guys that ended up on auto pick towards the end, and they drafted multiple. Well, they drafted multiple tight ends. That's why I'm left with Dalton Kincaid. But one of the tight ends is going to get dropped, and I'll be able to.
And if you don't get either, you expend early on getting Trey McBride or
Loveland, Tyler
or
Warren.
Loveland. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So. I feel like unless you're going to expand and maybe you have a little bit more at your wide receiver position, I'd be Dalton Kincaid is a fine little plug and play. Like tight end is a position that if you don't have the top 2 guys, you're just switching out who you have there every week, and there will be injuries at that position. So well done, Andy. Well done. I got a couple drafts coming up myself that I may have to consult you on because that's good work in a 12-teamer, man.
I got lucky with some of the guys that fell to me. I looking at
where did you pick at? What was
7.
your spot?
I was 7. So Jackson Smith and Jigbo fell to me at 7. Then
Great.
Saquon in round 2 was the crazy one. Then I came back with Javonte and
that's a
Lattimore.
great 1, 2, 3 right
Good
there.
start.
Like anything could happen in the draft. That 1, 2, 3, you're like, okay, I can figure out the rest of my team.
It's great. It's great. So, all right, we went long, but that's a great show. Thanks to Gianni. Thanks to Crack. Thanks to Steve Merril. Again, guys, a lot of specials going on over at WagerTalk. We've got a 4% MLB play that is a 22-7 run. Like just casually winning in the shadows behind the scenes. We're just racking up win after win after win in MLB. So big week of plays. Contender Series play will be up for $5 Tuesday. And we will have a 5% play that is up in UFC because we have been straight up kicking ass in that sport. So thanks for joining us. Don't forget to like. I see we got us Vikings for Friday. A suggestion for the Vikings. That could be a pretty good breakdown. So we'll add that to the list. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Like and subscribe. Good luck on your bets.